They say every creak of the floorboards in the Winchester House is more than just the sound of an old mansion settling. Some say it's the echo of restless souls, the victims of a weapon that changed history. Others believe it's the madness of one woman, haunted by her own creation. But what if the truth is far stranger than any ghost story ever told? Tonight, we step inside America's most haunted mansion and uncover the secrets of the Winchester Mystery House. The story begins in 1881 with the death of William Wirt, Winchester, the heir to the massive fortune built from the Winchester Repeating Arms Company. His wife, Sarah Winchester, suddenly became one of the wealthiest women in America, but her newfound fortune came with something far darker: curse. Sarah had already endured tragedy before her husband's death. She had lost her only child, Annie, to a mysterious illness. The grief consumed her, and after William's passing, she fell into a deep despair. Desperate for answers, Sarah turned to spiritualism, a movement that was sweeping across America at the time. Mediums claimed they could speak to the dead, and Sarah wanted to believe it. According to legend, one of these mediums told Sarah that her family was cursed, the same curse that had taken her husband and child. The spirits of all those killed by Winchester rifles would seek revenge. The only way to appease them, the medium warned, was to move west and build a home. But she must never stop building. If construction ever ceased, the spirits would claim her life. Whether out of madness or belief, Sarah obeyed. She left her home in New Haven, Connecticut, and traveled to California. There, near San Jose, she purchased an unfinished farmhouse on a sprawling 160-acre property. It would become her obsession and her prison. From the moment construction began in 1884, the work never stopped. For the next 38 years, Sarah employed crews of carpenters who worked day and night, around the clock. There were no blueprints, no master plan. Sarah herself directed every detail of construction, often changing her mind or ordering additions on a whim. Stairs that led to nowhere, doors that opened into walls, windows built into floors, hallways that twisted in circles. The mansion grew into a maze, confusing, eerie, and utterly unique. Workers told stories of Sarah wandering the house at night, guided only by candlelight, communicating with spirits in her seance room. They said she believed the ghosts would give her instructions on what to build next. By 1900, the house had become a labyrinth of 160 rooms, with secret passages and trapdoors. Some believed Sarah's goal was to confuse the spirits so they could never find her. Others thought she was simply losing her mind. But those who knew her described her differently, not as insane, but as consumed by grief and guilt. One carpenter once said, "Mrs. Winchester built to keep the dead away. But I think she built because it was the only thing keeping her alive." As the mansion grew, so did the legends surrounding it. Locals whispered that strange lights could be seen flickering in the windows late at night, and disembodied footsteps echoed through the halls long after the workers had gone home. Even visitors claimed to hear the sound of hammering when no one was working. And Sarah Winchester herself became a mystery. She rarely left the property. She wore a black veil and shunned visitors. Neighbors spoke of her as a ghost even while she was alive, a woman cursed to wander her own halls forever. But behind the myth, there may have been a method to her madness. Modern historians have discovered that Sarah had a keen interest in architecture and design. Some of the house's oddities, like staircases built with gradual steps, may have been meant to accommodate her severe arthritis, rather than confuse spirits. The windows made of colored glass from Tiffany's could reflect her fascination with light and symbolism. Still, there are features that defy explanation: stairways that end in ceilings, chimneys that stop short of the roof, and a door on the second floor that opens into empty air, a deadly drop to the garden below. Why would anyone design such a place? In her later years, Sarah became even more reclusive. She continued her nightly seances, often at midnight, where she supposedly communed with the spirits who had guided her construction for decades. Some say she spoke directly to the victims of the Winchester rifle, pleading for forgiveness, or perhaps bargaining for peace. By 1922, the house had grown to 7 stories tall, with nearly 500 doors and over 10,000 windows. Sarah, now frail and aging, spent her last years living among the very spirits she feared. On September 5th of that year, she passed away quietly in her sleep at the age of 83. When the workers learned that Mrs. Winchester had died, they immediately stopped construction. Hammers were dropped mid-swing, nails left half-driven. For the first time in nearly 4 decades, the mansion fell silent, and in that silence, some say the ghosts finally found her. When her will was read, it revealed she had left nothing to the mansion itself. All her furnishings were removed and sold, leaving the house empty, just a shell of madness and mystery. Yet the house remains standing, a twisting monument to grief, guilt, and obsession. Today, visitors still walk its endless halls. Tour guides tell stories of cold spots, moving shadows, and faint whispers. Many claim to have seen a small figure dressed in black wandering the corridors, perhaps still searching for something she could never finish. But others believe the house isn't haunted by Sarah Winchester. It is Sarah Winchester, her spirit, her sorrow, her fear, all built into the walls. And the strangest thing of all, even now, a century later, no one has ever truly mapped the entire house. What if there are rooms no one has ever found? Rooms still waiting for her return? The secrets of the Winchester Mansion have only begun to unfold. In Part 2, we'll explore the chilling theories that tie this house to something far darker and discover what may still be hidden within its walls. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and prepare to enter the next chapter of the Winchester Mystery House. Watch Part 2, The Spirits Speak. What if the Winchester Mansion isn't just a maze of wood and glass, but a coded message, a design built not by madness, but by instruction? Tonight we go deeper inside the Winchester House, where every door may be a warning, and every wall may hide a secret the world was never meant to see. When Sarah Winchester died in 1922, the construction stopped, but the mysteries didn't. For decades after her death, stories continued to swirl around her home. Visitors and caretakers began reporting strange occurrences, the sound of footsteps echoing through empty corridors, doors slamming on their own, and whispers that seemed to come from behind the walls. Even the workers who returned to prepare the house for public tours spoke of a presence they couldn't explain. Tools would vanish and reappear in strange places. Candles flickered without a breeze. One caretaker swore he saw the imprint of a hand in the dust on an unused banister still warm to the touch. Locals began calling it the house that spirits built. But as researchers began to study the mansion more closely, something even more bizarre emerged. Patterns hidden within the chaos. Architectural historians found repeated symbols in the design, number sequences, mirror placements, and geometric layouts that seemed too deliberate to be random. The number 13 appeared everywhere. 13 windows in a room, 13 steps on a staircase, 13 panels on a door. Some rooms contained spiderweb motifs carved into the wood, a symbol in spiritualism that represents protection from evil spirits. But what if these weren't random superstitions? What if Sarah was building something specific, something guided by the spirits themselves? In the 1960s, paranormal investigators gained access to parts of the mansion that had long been sealed. They discovered rooms filled with blueprints, sketches, and strange writings that seemed to map out hidden areas of the house. Many of these blueprints had words like spirit door, shadow hall, and safe room. No one knows exactly what these terms meant, but some believe they were designations given by Sarah during her nightly seances. Those seances became the cornerstone of her legend. Every night, precisely at midnight, Sarah entered her seance room, a small chamber at the heart of the mansion. She would ring a bell to summon the spirits, then sit in total darkness, waiting for guidance. Witnesses claimed she spoke to voices only she could hear, writing down instructions that carpenters would find pinned to the walls the next morning. Imagine living every day believing that if you stopped building, you would die. To Sarah, the endless construction wasn't madness, it was survival. The hammering was her heartbeat. The noise kept the silence, and the silence kept the spirits away. But there's another theory, one far stranger and far darker. Some researchers now believe Sarah wasn't just building for the dead. She was trapping them. According to a few accounts, Sarah told workers never to repeat the same route through the house twice. Certain doors, she warned, should never be opened after dark. One worker disobeyed and quit the next morning, pale as death, refusing to explain what he had seen. Later paranormal teams would claim the house as an architectural prison for spirits, a labyrinth meant to confuse and contain them. They point to the house's bizarre layout, the stairways that twist back upon themselves, the doors that open into walls, and the infamous second-story door that opens into midair. Was Sarah protecting herself or keeping something locked inside? AVP recordings taken inside the mansion seem to support that theory. In 1989, an investigator captured a low, trembling voice whispering, "Keep building." Another recording seemed to say, "She knows." Skeptics argue these are coincidences, random noises from creaking wood and old pipes. But those who've spent time inside the house claim the energy is undeniable. Visitors often describe a heavy pressure in their chest when walking through the seance room. Some say they feel watched, followed, and sometimes a soft female voice seems to echo from nowhere, not menacing, but mournful, as if someone is still trying to speak through the walls. But perhaps the strangest mystery of all is one that isn't supernatural at all. After Sarah's death, workers discovered a sealed room in the upper floors. Inside was a small, ornate safe. When they opened it, they found nothing. Only 2 locks of human hair, one belonging to a child, the other to a man, William and Annie Winchester. No gold, no secrets, just grief preserved in silence. Was this Sarah's final confession? A reminder that no matter how much wealth she had, she could never buy peace. Some say that's the real curse of the Winchester family, not the ghosts of the dead, but the guilt of the living. Yet even in death, Sarah's legend refused to end. Reports continued for years, lights flickering in unoccupied rooms, a figure in black wandering the gardens at night, and construction noises echoing from the upper floors, though the house had long been silent. Some claim the spirits still follow Sarah's last command, to build, and never stop. And the strangest thing, every few years, the house seems to change. New doorways appear where none existed before. Staircases are found behind walls. No one knows how or why, but those who work there say they've stopped questioning it. Because in the Winchester House, the walls remember. The secrets of the Winchester Mansion have only begun to unfold. In Part 2, we'll explore the chilling theories that tie this house to something far darker and discover what may still be hidden within its walls. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and prepare to enter the next chapter of the Winchester Mystery House. Gives watch Part 2, The Spirits Speak.